Yeah, thanks. Did Shrishti tell you anything about, send any email about the special lectures besides this one? She has to send me anything. She was saying something about Tuesday, coming next Tuesday.
Sir, she told me to tell you that we are comfortable with Jan 19 and Jan 28, but the timings aren't confirmed yet.
Just a minute. Jan 19 and Jan 28, you said, is it?
Yes.
One second.
And sir, I got a message from Shrishti yesterday. She asked for us. She asked a convenient time for us. We said
Hello?
after 6. Can you hear me?
Yeah, sure. Tell me. Go ahead.
So she said it's possible that we can have the lecture at 6:30 on Jan 19th and 28th.
No problem. Okay. Okay. And this is what we were discussing the other day. I think you may have to do some exercise today, some examples. So take it down and be ready to do this. Okay, I've given examples also. We've seen examples also. One prime example is elasticity. There are many such examples. You will be asked to calculate a quantity or a statistic, which is a function of the parameters that you have estimated. And here we are going to discuss that possibility, which is the case most of the time. You have estimated a set of coefficient vectors which are expected to follow normal distribution with some mean and variance. And you are defining a function of those coefficient vectors, elasticity being one of them. What is the distribution of that function? So this is what is all about delta method. Delta method as its base in Taylor series approximation, linear approximation, and one variable and multiple variable. This is what we saw, and I hope you may need this particular stuff and this linear approximation stuff. These are two things that the that expressions you may need. So these things I hope you have taken down. Those who are not familiar with time series, Taylor series. Okay, the useful result is the delta method is a handy tool to approximate the probability distribution for a function of an asymptotically normal statistical estimator. The question arises, can we have the delta method for any other distribution? Yes, it's possible. For binomial, for Poisson, for t distribution also it's possible. From a knowledge of the limiting variance of that estimator. So it gets its name, so we need the limiting distribution. It gets its name from its use of calculus. For a single random variable, we have the following theorem.
Sir, can you show the form of the delta method?
What is it?
Can you show the form of the delta method?
We are coming there. What is it now? What it is? How we are going to use this? This is the limiting distribution.
No, sir. I'm talking about like a few slides back. Yes.
This is the Taylor series.
Okay.
This is the Taylor series. Only thing is you may need the second one. Take down the second one. You may need it later on for an example. And the last bullet point, and this bullet point, the second bullet point, the third bullet point. These are the things that you need to know, that this is a linear approximation of a function in one variable. This is the first order approximation. And this is the first order approximation in multiple variables. And these are the Taylor series, and we are going to see how this is used in the delta method. It gets its name from its use of calculus for a single random variable. So let's start from the limiting normal distribution of a function. We have seen this before, I think. Okay, this is to see 0 sigma square. Yeah.
Sorry to disturb. I actually have one question.
Yeah.
So, I mean, wherever we do approximation, we take a linear thing. Isn't it a very bad way of approximation?
Is it Saurav? Is it?
Yes, sir. Sir, the thing is, I mean, you are assuming everything is linear and.
Correct. I'll tell you. Saurav, can I go out of the class a bit? I can tell you something that I always quote when I teach financial econometrics. You have heard of Ito calculus?
Yes, sir. I have heard about Ito calculus, and that's why I'm asking that question.
I knew I knew where you are coming. Actually, what we are seeing is called the Newtonian calculus.
Yes, sir.
Okay, I have a picture. I can send it the whole class. What I have done, of course, I got this idea from somewhere. You take in this is very what should I say, informative. I took an arbitrary nonlinear function. Okay, I'll send you the picture. It was completely crazy nonlinear function. You know what I did? I did approximation over a small interval, connecting it with linear segments.
Linear segment in the sense?
Over a small interval, approximated by taking only the first order approximation of the Taylor series.
Okay. Okay, sir.
Okay, and then plotted it. You will not believe over a very small interval, it looked a complete straight line. It's a complete straight line, let me tell you. I can send you the picture for the entire class for your information. So,
sir, but most of these functions, like even if you take a sine function or cos functions which are not linear,
right.
If you take the limit, they are linear. Like sine x is equal to x at x tends to 0, and also, I mean, some epsilon. If you take 0 plus epsilon and 0 minus epsilon, they look linear. So I mean, that is
so that yeah.
So that is for just for a very small interval, right? I mean,
that is very important. That is very important. The interval should be as small as possible, not over a wide interval. I give that. Okay. On the other hand, if the original series, as you say, some sort of a Brownian motion, I don't know whether we can introduce that. You take any small interval, in infinitesimal interval, and then try to plot it. It looks like the original Brownian motion. That is called a fractal. If you have heard of it.
Yes, I have heard about fractal.
Yeah, that is the one. So, for your question can be answered simply by taking Ito calculus. What is Ito calculus, Saurav Kumar? Now that you have asked me so the question.
So the way I have understood is that you basically try to find a path taking randomness in the consideration, like how they are moving, and you actually try to model that using like some filtration. I mean, some previous information like that, but I do not remember exactly how.
I'll tell you what is Ito's lemma. Ito's lemma is nothing but second order approximation of Taylor series in one word. You know that?
Second order approximation.
This is only linear approximation. We go for the second order approximation.
Yes, that is true. But there also you take a, I think you take a, the b and t as some relation, like b dot t is equal to 0, right?
Correct.
So
even
okay, I'll go through my notes and then I'll come back to you. I don't think
it works. It works even for fractal, Saurav Kumar. That is why the Ito calculus is so famous in financial econometrics. Okay, it works even for the minute infinitesimal interval over which it is completely chaotic. It works well.
Yes.
Okay, but on the you are right. At the back of your mind, you have to remember this is all approximation only.
Yes, sir.
There will always be some error. Remember, we always try this. Modeling is only not to mimic reality. Okay, you just duplicate it as much as possible. There will always be some error. Okay, okay. And this is a limiting normal distribution. And this is where did we get this from? Where did we get this from? Okay, now Zn was the original random variable. I have the limiting distribution. Gzn is a function that I'm defining. What is the distribution, limiting distribution of Gzn? Limiting distribution of Gzn is given by this. Where did I get this from? Where did I get this from? I got this from here. This is the first order linear approximation. You take the mean and the variance of this, you should get this. Drishan, could you followed this?
Yes, sir.
This is how this is the so-called through the delta method. This is the so-called what is that? Okay, let me not put that way. Limiting distribution from here. Okay, the multivariate version of this is very important. You take this down. Now, Zn is a sequence of vector valued random variables, and these follow the normal distribution, where matrix sigma. Now, Zn is a set of J continuous and continuously differentiable functions of Zn with C mu not equal to 0, not involving n, And then this will be the distribution, limiting distribution of CZM. We are interested in the asymptotic distribution. We take this down because for the example that we are going to see, we need the C matrix. Take the last bullet point. The jth row of C mu is the vector of partial derivatives of the jth function with respect to mu prime. Now, asymptotic distribution of a nonlinear function. Okay, this is from the limiting distribution. I'm writing this.
Can you give us some time to copy, please?
Yes. Okay,
sir.
Now this is the asymptotic distribution of a nonlinear function. What we saw is just a few slides back. And this is the asymptotic distribution. From the limiting distribution, I have written the asymptotic distribution, and this is what you need. Now, theta is a vector of parameters. How does the asymptotic distribution look like? This is how the asymptotic distribution looks like. Vector of parameters, this is asymptotic distribution. This asymptotic distribution is a function of theta n. You take this down also. The first one, this G theta hat n and C theta hat n. This is what you need to know. We can extend the theorem on the distribution of a nonlinear function to functions of the least squares estimator now. That was a general thing. Now let us come to the estimator that we are discussing now. Let f b be a set of j continuous, linear, and nonlinear, and continuously differential functions of the least squares now. Okay, now any arbitrary function c theta now has been replaced by cb is equal to dou fb by dou beta prime. This is what we will be interested in. So far, we have seen only wireless. That's why I'm coming to this. You take this down also, the second bullet point. So by Slutsky's theorem, FB is equal to plim FB equal to F beta, and plim CB equal to dou FB by dou beta prime equal to gamma. Using a Taylor approach, we expand this set of functions in the approximation. FB is equal to F beta plus gamma into B minus beta plus higher order terms. Higher order terms become negligible in large samples if and only if plane B equal to beta, so that we can ignore them. Then the asymptotic distribution of the function on the left-hand side of the above approximation is the same as that on the right-hand side. Thus, the mean of the asymptotic distribution is a plane FB is equal to F beta, and the asymptotic covariance matrix is gamma, asymptotic variance of B minus beta, gamma prime, which gives the following theorem. Asymptotic distribution of a function of B. This is with respect to our OLS estimator. If FB is a set of continuous and continuously differentiable functions of B, such that gamma is equal to dou F beta by dou beta prime, and assuming that the result holds, OLS 60 holds, OLS 60, what is it, OLS 60? Where is OLS 60? My goodness. Okay, OLS 60, oh, this is the whole stuff, okay. This is the whole stuff, OLS 60 holds. Then the asymptotic distribution of a function of OLS coefficient vector, estimated coefficient vector is this. N F beta prime gamma sigma square by N Q inverse gamma prime, OLS 61. Take these things down too. So in practice, we replace the Q with X transpose X inverse. If any of the functions are nonlinear, then the property of unbiasedness may not carry over to a function of beta. But nonetheless, following OLS 58, if B is a consistent estimator for F beta, and the asymptotic covariance matrix is readily available. So the bottom line is, even if the functions are nonlinear, you can still use this estimated asymptotic variance, hope that Fb is a consistent estimator for F beta. Look at this. Take down this example. Nonlinear functions are parameters, the delta method. The following abbreviated model is sometimes considered for analyzing the US gasoline market. Take this down. This is per capita. Per capita consumption is a function of per capita income. And the price G is price of gasoline. And log P is price of log P new cars and log P used cars. They have an index of this. Can you believe it? The model will provide estimates of the income and price elasticities of demand for gasoline and estimate of the elasticity of demand with respect to the prices of new and used cars. what should be the correct sign for B4, beta 4?
Plus.
So what is capital G?
Capital G is gasoline. Gasoline.
And what is your POP?
Population. What do you expect the sign of B4 to be?
It's a negative, because as price of new cars go up, less people buy it, therefore less people drive new cars, and therefore the gasoline demand goes down.
Cars and gasoline are complementary goods, or?
Complementary goods.
Okay, let's see. Cars and gasoline are complementary goods. So the prices of new cars rise, ceteris paribus, gasoline consumption should fall. The prices of new cars rise, ceteris paribus, gasoline consumption should fall. Is it okay? Buyers keep their used cars longer, buy lesser the new cars because of the price rise. Gasoline consumption may increase because older cars consume more gasoline. This is also correct. Okay, but this has nothing to do with the delta method. I just threw it. Okay, so price rise may actually lead to more gasoline consumption than less. This is the received wisdom. You won't believe. Only an analysis with actual data can answer such questions. Okay, but this is not our intention. What is our intention? We shall use a dynamic version of the gasoline consumption model to separate out the short and the long run impacts due to changes in prices and income. What is this dynamic version? That is, this is a static. There is no T there, of course. Okay, and this is the dynamic model. The model would be this. This is basically a time series data, as the subscript T tells you. So what makes it dynamic? So I'm going to take a lag dependent variable. Where PNCT and PUCT are price indexes for new and used cars. Take everything down. Okay, what are the short-run elasticities, price elasticities and income elasticities?
So the coefficients beta 2, beta 3, beta 4.
Yeah, no, beta 2 and price and income elasticities only. Okay. Price of gasoline, sorry, price of gasoline, and that's what I mean as price elasticities and income elasticities, beta 2 and beta 3. How do you calculate the long run elasticities? This involves some assumption. I have to take the lagged variable to the left hand side, assume some assumption about the gamma, that it lies between mod gamma is equal to less than 1 and all those stuff. But let me tell you the answer straight away. This model, the short run price and income elasticities are beta 2 and beta 3. The long run elasticities are defined this way: phi 2 and phi 3. This was exactly what I was telling you. Short-run price elasticities are straight away obtained from the model, but the long-run elasticities, price and income elasticities, have to be calculated this way. Phi 2 equal to beta 2 by 1 minus gamma, and phi 3 equal to beta 3 by 1 minus gamma. Now you see phi 2 and phi 3 are functions of the estimated coefficients. We are interested in finding the standard error of phi 2 and phi 3. How do we do this?
Expectation of phi 3 minus expectation phi 3 whole square.
I mean, isn't this a simple, straightforward example of the delta method that we have been talking of? We can use the delta method to compute the standard errors. How are you going to do that? We need the partial derivatives of these functions with respect to the 6 parameters in the model. But the phi 2 and but these two elasticities, phi 2 and phi 3, involve only B2, B3, and gamma. Okay, so basically we write these two statements: G2 prime equal to dou phi 2 dou beta prime equal to this. Does this work out?
Sir, just it out. Can you tell how we obtain the long run elasticities?
Is it Paramila? Is it Paramila?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, this actually take it to the left hand side. How do you get 1 minus gamma? Take it to the left hand side. Assume some. If you take it to the left hand side, don't you think this is an AR1 mole process?
Yes.
I have to assume something about the gamma.
Yeah, it's less than 1.
Mod gamma is less than 1, correct?
Yeah.
So I come from there only. This is straight away defined. Actually, in the long run, t does not matter. So you just take it down 1 minus gamma and divided the income elasticity, whatever elasticities you need by this, and this gives the long run elasticity. Just take it down from it. Then I have to tell you why the stationarity and all those stuff. So please take it down. That's it. Unless I bring some time series concept, I cannot explain this. Okay.
Yes, sir.
To estimate the long run elasticities, we estimate the model and calculate these two nonlinear functions from the estimated parameters. We can use the delta method to compute the standard errors. So we need the partial derivatives of these functions with respect to the 6 parameters. Do you get this? I can write the entire matrix, but I don't need it because these functions involve only beta 2 and beta 3. So I'm just writing only those rows, G2 prime and G3 prime. I have an example where you have to calculate the entire C matrix.
Sir, how did you get that last term of G prime 2?
Beta 2 1 minus gamma square. How did you get the 0? This comes from this phi 2.
So differentiate phi 2 with respect to gamma. I think we'll get that term.
Yeah. Beta prime contains the entire vector Drishan. Beta prime contains.
I got a minus term. I made a mistake there.
Is that okay now?
Yeah.
The second one also is okay? The same way?
Yes, sir.
2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay. 2, 3, 6. So OLS 60 with using OLS 61. What is OLS 61? Using OLS 61, I have not calculated the entire gamma matrix because I don't need the entire gamma matrix. So using OLS 61, we can now compute the estimates of the asymptotic variances for the two estimated long-run elasticities. It is simply G2 prime S square, where I have used S square as an estimator for sigma square, G2 and G3. The two asymptotic standard errors are the square roots of the respective asymptotic variances. This is how you calculate it. Okay, and I have the numerical example. Numerical example is going to tell you the same way. If the standard, how do you infer? You can use the standard 1.96. So if the calculated elasticities using calculating standard errors for elasticities are another problematic stuff. Okay, but for this class you can use straight away this 1.96 stuff. That's not exactly correct. Okay, asymptotic standard errors are square roots of the respective asymptotic variances. Weight determination. Take this down. Take this down. I'm going to ask you some questions also here. This will check whether you are ready for the midterm. Okay, concentrate on this beta 1 now. Let's come to beta 2 later. When beta 1 is small, we have seen this before. Beta 1 is small. I mean, it's not big. 100 into beta 1 is approximately the ceteris paribus percentage difference in wages between married and unmarried men. We have seen a correction. What should be, I mean, approximately thing. If beta 1 is large, this one is going to give you a very spurious picture. And we had discussed an exact, how to calculate the exact percentage difference in wages. What is that? Should be there in econometrics portion, second handout, I think, or maybe first handout. Econometrics portion, first or second handout, when we digressed and discussed conditional expectations, law of iterated expectations, and all those stuff. What is that?
So what is the question again?
What does the last bullet point tell you? If beta, when beta 1 is small, 100 into beta 1 is approximately the percentage difference in wages between married and unmarried men. If beta 1 is large, this approximation will be poor. So we have discussed how to get the exact percentage difference in wages between married and unmarried men when beta 1 is large. When beta 1 is large, it is preferable to use the exact percentage difference in E, call this theta 1. Exact percentage difference in wages between married and unmarried men when beta 1 is large, it's preferable to use the exact percentage difference. Call this theta 1. What is this theta 1? I'm asking you to find this theta 1.
So it was something e to the power 100 into e to the power.
I'm giving you this. Take the hint also. You need the hint for the next question. Show that if E is independent of all explanatory variables in regression equation, then theta 1 equal to 100 into exponential beta 1 minus 1. Can you show this? Have you got this? Take the hint also. This is how you find the percentage difference.
Sir, we get it from that result where beta 1 into e to the power beta 1 married 1 minus e to the power beta 1 married 0 by e to the power beta 1 married 1. So we put married 1 as 1 and married 0 as 0. So we get beta 1 into e to the power beta 1 minus 1.
And you multiply by 100, you get it in
Yes,
percentage,
into 100.
correct?
Yes.
Okay, now see the difference now. Married equal to 1 and married equal to 0. You can say that, okay? The next question is slightly different. That's why I'm giving you this hint. Others, Paramila and others, have you got it? Attendance is not that good. Guys are sleeping.
Yes, sir.
Okay, where is Anas Khan?
Sir.
How do you find this? Could you get this?
Sir, trying.
Hari Prakash, how about you?
Sir, trying but not able to get theta 1.
I'm giving you the hint. Find expected value of age given married and education Z. Expected value of age for married equal to 1 and married equal to 0 and find the percentage difference. Obtain the asymptotic standard error of theta 1 hat, and this is using the delta method. Repeat A and B, repeat 1 and 2 by finding the exact percentage change in wage. Oh, this is wage, not age here. Sorry, this is wage. Sorry, this is wage, not age. Okay, so a percentage change in wage given married education Z for any given change in education. Now call this del education, call this theta 2. Explain how to estimate theta 2 and how to obtain this asymptotic standard error. Take this question and try. I'm giving you the answer shortly. Sorry, the first one is wage, not age. Take 1, 2, and 3. Repeat 1 and 2, not A and B. Repeat 1 and 2 by finding the exact percentage change in now instead of marital status, now educational status now. See the difference how I have defined. Married 1, married 0. Now I'm defining educational del education. Call this theta 2. Explain how to estimate theta 2 and obtain this asymptotic standard error. This is the question. You try, I'm giving you the answer right below.
Sir, I have a question. Sir, in part 2, sir, how did we obtain the asymptotic standard error, sir? I am a little lost here.
And now, what is the, isn't it the delta method, example of delta method?
Okay, theta 1 is a function of beta 1. So,
now. Okay. Kumar, are you there? No, you are not there today.
Yes, sir, I'm there.
I'm there. Okay. How do you, can you make any progress about this question?
Sir, I'm trying.
Trying. Okay. Devesh, how about you?
Yes, sir, I'm making progress. Sir, can you just show the regression equation once?
Regression equation one. I think you didn't even take it down.
Yes, sir, I did the first one, so I thought it will be there only. So I did not note the regression equation.
This is the regression equation. And sorry, this is a typo. It should be wage, not age.
Yes, sir.
Can you do these questions, or should I show the answer?
Sir, is theta 2 is...
Sir, like please show the answer for this question, and next question I think I can do.
Next question you'll try. Okay, look at this. If E is independent of all explanatory variables, and then in the regression equation, then exponentiating the given model gives you this. Is it okay?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay. Why am I taking that exponential E? Because it's very important. Because E is independent of all other explanatory variables. Now, what is E wage given? Okay, what is it?
So second inequality, first inequality is okay. Wage is equal to exponential. Then exponential E, how come it came?
How do you write that E power B0 plus B1, B2 education? Can't we write it as E power this into E power E?
Is it E raised to E? I don't know.
That is the error vector. Sorry, that is the error term. That's why I wrote exponential here.
Okay, I got sir. Okay, sir.
Is it okay now? The first bullet point. And how do you get the second bullet point? Standard.
Sir, I got it.
Okay. What is the now X denotes all explanatory variables? Kumar, you should answer the next question. You asked for it, I'm giving you in detail.
Yes, sir.
E and X are independent, then what will be? E and X are independent, so the conditioning information is redundant. I'm going to take it out. So let's call expectation of exponential E as delta 0, for example. Okay.
Okay, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay. Therefore, E wage X can we write it as del 0 into exponential B0 plus B1 beta 1 married beta 2 education plus Z gamma?
Yes, sir.
Okay. What do you want? We find the proportionate difference in this expectation at married equal to 1 and married equal to 0. All else giving equal. Gives you this exponential beta 1 minus 1. Proportionate difference. How do you find the proportionate difference in this expectation? Proportionate difference and married equal to 1 and married equal to 0. Gives you exponential beta 1 minus 1. All other factors cancel out. Do you get it, Kumar?
Yes, sir. Basically, we have put one time 0 and one time 1 and then taken the difference.
No, divided by?
Divided by the married is equal to 0.
Previous position 0.
Yes.
You get exponential beta 1 minus 1, correct? So
yes,
you
sir.
multiply it by 100, you get the percentage change. Now,
Yes,
Kanika,
sir.
how to find the asymptotic standard error of phi? We need to find its variance. Since theta 1 is a nonlinear function of beta 1, we need the derivative g b1 equal to 100 into exponential beta 1 minus 1. So that is, we need the derivative with respect to beta 1, which is nothing but simply 100 into exponential beta 1. Is it okay?
Yes, sir.
So hence, asymptotic standard error of theta 1 hat using the delta method is obtained as d g hat d beta 1 times the standard error of beta 1. What is this now? Standard error of theta 1 is 100 into exponential beta 1 into standard error of beta 1.
Sir, can you once explain the last bullet point?
What is it?
The standard error part.
Yeah.
So how did we get that standard error of theta 1 hat?
What is this?
Sir, can you please explain how we got the standard error of theta 1, that part, theta 1 hat?
No, but this is the asymptotic standard error of theta 1 using the delta method is 100 times the standard error of beta b1.
Sir, like we multiplied the derivative dg by d beta 1 with standard error of beta 1 to get the standard error of theta 1.
Yeah.
Sir, how is standard error of beta 1 coming here? I mean, have we taken variance operator over the derivative? Yes.
Standard error of beta 1. B1.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. B1. Sorry.
B1 is available when you estimate the standard errors. First, you estimate this.
Sir, but why are we multiplying it? I mean, is it a formula or is
It's
there
just a formula. It's just a formula. It's just a formula.
Sir, you have already stated this like few slides above. If U is a distribution, and then if G is a differentiable function, then we can find the standard error of G of U.
Drishan.
You have just.
Drishan.
Yes, sir.
What is this? Does this tell you? The derivative into, what does this tell you, Drishan?
The derivative times.
We have taken only c theta prime, remember? What have you multiplied it with? In the first case.
V, the original variance.
Sigma square was the original variant. If you want to find the standard difference, standard error.
Sir, simply what you are saying is that c theta is transformation of theta. Now to find standard error of this transformation, you just multiply with the original standard error.
What does this first bullet point tell you, Drishan? The asymptotic distribution. What is g prime theta in our example?
Oh, 100 e to the power beta 1.
And what am I multiplying it with?
The original variance.
Variance of the theta,
Standard.
isn't it?
Yeah.
Now we need the standard error.
Yeah.
Is it okay now?
Yes.
That's why I'm finding it. Now, answer this question. Answer 3. Not repeat A and B, repeat 1 and 2.
Sir, just one doubt.
Yeah.
Sir, we have assumed that beta 1 and beta 2 are normal, right?
We have assumed yes.
Asymptotically normal. Yeah.
I have not mentioned any distribution assumption. You don't need any distribution assumption here.
Sir, but to find, in the above mentioned.
I mean, you just take the formula right now. Don't worry about this. Okay, yeah, normal. You can if you insist on it, yes. Because remember, I'm not going to do any inference now as of now.
Sir, I was not talking about inference. So you were doing the asymptotic. We find the asymptotic variance, and then we find of that parameter we find a functional asymptotic variance. So
Correct.
In that first one follows normal, then only we go to the second one, right? Like the way you have explained it.
The way you explained it. Now let's go back. This is a general explanation. Do you get it now? Asymptotic distribution nonlinear function. If it goes without saying the delta method that I'm using is only valid for the functions that are originally normally distributed. Can I say that? I think I did say this right at the beginning. Devesh?
Yes, sir. Okay, that's what I asked.
Yeah, I also told you the delta method can be extended to other distributions like binomial, T, and other distributions also. But the procedure is the same. Only mathematics becomes a bit complicated. Now, can you repeat 1 and 2 for this question? By finding the exact percentage change in now for any given change in educational status. Call it del education. There is a reason why I'm calling. Yeah. Who is this?
Sir, I'm not clear with theta 1. Can you explain once again?
What is theta 1? What is not clear for you?
Means how we got the theta 1? You said married put 0 and then 1.
Who is this now?
Hari, sir. Hari.
Harish. Okay. You get the first bullet point?
Yes, sir.
First bullet point, do you get?
Yes, sir.
Second bullet point?
Yes, sir. Okay.
The third bullet point?
Third bullet point. Yes, sir. This is also okay.
Okay. Now finding the proportionate difference in this expectation at married 1 and married 0. What is proportionate difference? How do you find proportionate difference?
So this I am not clear.
Expectation of this statement with married equal to 1 minus expectation of this statement when married equal to 0 upon expectation of this statement when married equal to 0. See what you get.
Okay. Sir, okay, sir.
The second bullet point is now percentage difference is simply multiplied by 100, okay?
Yes, sir. Yes.
Now find the asymptotic standard error. You need to find the derivative. Is dou g by dou beta 1? Is this the answer? Harish, you have to say yes.
Yes, sir. Yes.
Now, say the bullet point is this. Now, this is how you find the standard error.
Yes, sir.
Now, can you do this question? Third question now.
Sir,
yeah.
sir, is it Yes, sir. So theta 2 is e to the power beta 1 delta married minus 1 into 100 beta 1, and I am getting
Delta
as
education, not married. Now you get married,
sorry,
forget married.
delta education.
Yeah.
And I'm getting asymptotic standard error as e to the power beta 1 delta education into 100 into standard error of B2.
Okay.
So it should be e to the power beta 2 or beta 1.
Sorry, it will be
Education
beta
beta
2.
2, no?
Yes,
Education beta 2.
sorry, beta 2. Yes,
Yes,
sorry.
yes, sir. I'm getting the same thing, sir.
Good. Kumar, you are improving.
Thank you, sir.
Similarly, if you're interested in finding the exact percentage change or difference in two levels of education, that is exactly the difference between the first bullet point and second bullet point. Here we say married 1, married 0. So differencing, it gives you 1, so you can ignore it. But here, I just say education 0, edu 0, education 0 and education 1, all else fixed. The proportionate change in expected wage from education 0 to education 1 is exponential beta 2 del education minus 1. And following the same arguments used for answering 1 above, we get the exact percentage change, say theta 2 as theta 2 equal to 100 into exponential beta 2 del education minus 1. And asymptotic standard error is this. Kanika, is it okay? Kumar?
Yes, sir. Yes.
Drishan?
Yes, sir.
Yamini?
Yes, sir.
Sir, one last thing, sir. In the last line, won't it be exponential to the matlab, del education into exponential to the power beta 2 delta education?
Yeah. B2.
Okay, we are using the estimates here.
Correct, because I see standard error of theta 2 hat, no?
Okay, in the first question, then also it will be 100 e to the power b1 into standard error of b1.
Yeah, look at this.
Okay.
Sir, from where did the modulus of delta education come?
Just to make it this positive, standard error positive.
Okay. But okay.
Why didn't we use here? Why didn't we use it here?
Because it is 1, so mod of
Because
1
it
will
is
always.
1. Okay, that is exactly the difference I was trying to tell you. Because this is married 0, married 1, married 0. That wasn't necessary, but here I'm not saying education 0 is equal to 0, education 1 is equal to 1, but that's not the way education is defined. Education is defined in various levels. For example, high school, graduate, postgraduate, like that. So that's why it's del education. Harish, who is that? Hari Prakash.
Yes, sir.
Do you get the second one now?
Yes, sir, I got it.
Okay, now there's some more thing for you. Take the next question. That's really a tough question. Constant elasticity of substitution production function. This is right from the literature. This is this. Take this down. Horrible looking CS production function. How do you estimate it? Okay, quickly. Delta 1 minus delta gives you
Elasticities of capital and labor.
K is capital, L and labor. See the weight. So that should always go to 1. That's why the constant elasticity. And error now for this question is epsilon, gamma, log y, gamma, nu, that is nu by rho, into log del k minus rho plus 1 minus del L power minus rho, sorry, k power minus rho, L power minus rho, plus epsilon. Take this down.
Sir, what are the parameters and what are the variables in this equation?
Nu, rho, delta are the parameters. K and L are the variables. Log gamma, you can treat it as an intercept.
Sir, it is non-linear in parameters.
Yes, yes, don't worry. Have you taken down this model? The Taylor series approximation to this function around the point rho equal to 0 is this. That's why I'm taking the Taylor series approximation. Can you write? Okay, you can go and check it. I'm not checking it. You can go and check it. Okay. After taking the Taylor series approximation to this function around point rho equal to 0, I'm rewriting this model equal to beta 1 x1, beta 2 x2, beta 3 x3 plus beta 4 x4 epsilon prime. Now what am I going to do? I'm going to estimate this model through OLS. What is beta 1? What is beta 1?
Mu delta.
Beta 1 is log gamma by.
Oh,
Yes,
I thought
sir.
beta not.
Beta 1, I take it as beta 1, where x1 equal to 1, x2 equal to log k, x3 is equal to log L, x4 equal to 1 by 2 log k log square by k by L.
Sir, which function's Taylor series approximation are we taking?
The first one, the original one.
Sir, can you go back to, sir, which function here? Like exactly,
What do
we
you
are
mean, which
taking
function? This is the
ln.
function. Yeah.
Okay.
The transformations are, what are the transformations?
Sir, please, can you explain how did you take the Taylor series approximation and at
I
what
have
point?
not, I leave it to you. I leave it, is this Kumar?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
I leave it to you
At
to
what
do that.
point? Because this is a multivariate function, so multivariate.
Yeah,
approximation.
yes. I leave it to you to do that. Otherwise, you just take it down like this. Don't worry, in examination, I will not ask you about Taylor series. That's not my idea. Okay?
Thank you, sir.
Okay, this is only for example now. The transformation, can you see, do you see the transformations now?
Yes, sir.
Okay, your question now is, all parameters are involved, beta 1, beta 2, beta 3, beta 4, all 4 are involved. Write this C matrix for me. What is this C matrix for me? What is this C matrix for me? In this, for this problem, write the C matrix. This is a nonlinear estimation, so I'm just only showing this. Asymptotic distribution of a nonlinear function. Okay, write the C matrix for me, basically. Would you like to try or should I show? We have estimated beta 1 x1 through OLS, but these are the transformations. We should all get in terms of the original parameters. So here beta 1 is equal to log gamma, beta 2 is equal to V delta, and like this. And so that gamma, delta, nu, and rho are this. This is now in terms of, these are functions of the OLS parameters beta 1, beta 2, beta 3, beta 4. We are interested in retrieving these and finding the standard errors of gamma, delta, nu, and rho. That's all we need. So what do you have to do?
So we differentiate all of these gamma, delta, nu, and rho by differentiated with respect to beta 1, beta 2,
Entire beta vector, correct?
Yes.
Now this is how you would get. The estimates of beta can be obtained by least squares. To obtain this asymptotic covariance matrix of the estimates of theta prime, I'm going to call it theta prime equal to gamma, delta, nu, and rho. We shall use the delta method. The derivative matrix looks like this. Am I right?
Yes, sir, I was getting this.
So what is the estimated covariance matrix? Now you see I am deriving the entire C matrix. The previous problem also we could have derived the entire C matrix, but it involved only two parameters. We derived only the two rows involved. Suppose our transformation involves only beta 3 and beta 4, we could have written only the final two, the second one and the fourth one. This X transpose X inverse must be available from our original OLS. Now I have the C hat. You replace, this is the C. You replace everything with the estimated quantities. You'll get this quantity and the estimated covariance matrix of theta hat you get. And the diagonal elements, the square root of the diagonal elements of the estimated covariance matrix of theta hat will give you the standard errors for all these parameters.
So can you once show the expression of rho? Rho is in terms of beta 4, beta 2. So shouldn't the fourth row second column be minus of beta 4 by, so that minus.
Fourth row second column, there's a second, you want a minus here?
I might be doing some mistake.
Oh no, there is a minus. Yes. There is a minus. You are right. Rishan, you need a minus there.
Sir, I hadn't reached that part.
No, there is a minus there. There is a typo. I forgot. You are right, Kanika. Paramila, relaxing.
Sir, I'm trying, sir.
Anas Khan, how do you find it? Now that I tell you the answers.
It is hard to comprehend.
Which one?
This one.
Our other two examples?
Yes, sir.
How were the other two examples? They were okay?
Yes, sir. That was okay, but this one was.
This one, where do you find the difficulty? Do not worry about this Taylor approximation. From here, take the second equality. Is it okay, second equality?
Yes.
Okay, I'm estimating this with the help of OLS. Keep saying yes, and otherwise I won't know whether you are there or not.
Yes, sir.
So I'm getting beta 1, beta estimates for beta 1, beta 2, beta 3, beta 4 because x1, x2, x3, x4 are available. Okay.
Okay, sir.
But this is not what I want. Our original is in gamma, nu, rho, and all those stuff. This transformation tells you that beta 1 is equal to log gamma. Am I right?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Beta 2 is equal to B delta from first equality. How do we get gamma here? How do you get gamma from beta 1 is equal to log gamma? I'm just exponentiating it.
Okay, sir.
Delta is equal to beta 2. Similarly, okay, this adjustment you can go and do. Now, what am I doing now? Now, the original parameters are now expressed in terms of the estimated parameters beta 1, beta 2. Right?
Yes, sir.
I need the Wear-Cover matrix of gamma, delta, nu, and rho. This is an ideal thing for delta method. Define this as the matrix.
Right.
Theta, am I right? Now we do what we have to do. You have to simply estimate, differentiate everything with the help of the entire parameter vector. Gamma with respect to beta 1, beta 2, beta 3, beta 4. Delta with respect to entire stuff, nu with respect to entire stuff, rho with respect to the entire beta. This is straightforward differentiation. If you differentiate this, the first one you differentiate with beta 1, you get E beta 1, rest are 0. Is it okay? First row?
Yes, sir.
And the second row, similarly, third row, the fourth row, as Kanika pointed out, I need a minus there, minus beta 3, beta 4. And this is it now. Now this is my C. I have to, when you want to estimate it, you just replace all the unknown quantities with the estimated quantities. Now C, nothing but B1, B3, B2, B3, and all those stuff. This is nothing but my Wear-Cover matrix of the first wireless. And this will give you the entire covariance matrix for theta hat. The diagonal element will give you the variance. The square root of the diagonal elements will give you the standard error. Can you go and see, suppose you repeat it once, you will get it. Hello?
Yes, sir.
Sir,
but
I
do
have
you- No, one minute. I'll come to Kanika now. Anas, do you get
Yes,
the
sir.
basic stuff what you are trying to do? This particular
Yes,
stuff.
yes, we got it, sir. I will
This
repeat it
particular
again.
stuff you need to know. Otherwise, there'll be a problem. Now, theta is a vector parameter. This is exactly what I'm using. The second bullet point. Am I right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now, Kanika, what were you saying?
Sir, I have a question, sir. Why aren't we cancelling beta 3 and like we are ruling out beta 3 is equal to 0 here, right? Beta 3 and beta 2 is equal to 0 here.
Yeah, no, I think so. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
All these things will then will collapse this thing, and then we are not ruling out anything. We are, nothing is zero in the denominator.
Sir, I think what she's saying is that why aren't we cancelling in the last line
Yes.
and beta 2 terms?
No. I'm just an example. I'm just giving you the differentiated result. That's it.
Okay, sir.
No, sir, I think she is saying that why aren't we cancelling the fourth row, third column term, beta 2 and beta 2?
Yeah, like why aren't we writing minus beta 4 by beta 3 square? Instead of minus beta 2, beta 4 by beta 2, beta 3
Yeah,
whole.
you can write. I'm just writing the. Okay, you can write it. Yeah, I mean that is quite straightforward, isn't it?
Yes, sir.
You can write
Very
it. You can write
clear.
it. That's quite straightforward, isn't it? Similarly, I can calculate cancel out beta 3 also.
Yes, sir, in fourth row, second column.
Yeah, but that's okay. Straightforward. I'm just writing the straightforward differentiation. That's it. Kanika?
Sir,
So for that we need to impose restrictions on GAM. I think. Sir, can you go back to the next previous slide? So one more, sir, we need to impose restrictions on delta here. So we have already assumed that delta is not equal to 1.
Yeah, delta is less than 1. Mod delta is less than 1. Wait a minute. No. I mean, why? No. Yeah, delta is less than 1. Correct.
Yes. Okay.
Because this is elasticity. I'm confusing it with the previous delta. Okay.
Yes. Okay.
Somebody else was saying something.
Sir, second row of this matrix, how we get, sir? We will differentiate gamma.
How did you get the first row?
The first row I got by differentiating all function with respect to beta 1.
The second one, you differentiate delta with respect to?
Second row, I'm not able to. Means I have to differentiate it with respect to beta 2. Is
The
it?
entire vector, suppose you differentiate with respect to beta 1, what will you get?
That will be 0.
That's exactly what we are getting.
Second element, I have to differentiate delta with respect to beta 2, right?
Beta, you have to differentiate everything with the entire beta vector. You are still not getting this particular formula. Get this particular formula. Get this particular formula. Wait a minute, isn't it? No. Get this particular formula. C theta dou C theta is equal to dou theta prime. The entire vector of parameters. The entire vector of the population parameters.
Okay.
What C theta will be the
entire.
respective. Okay.
Okay, sir. Okay. I'll try and then.
No, there is nothing to try. It's quite. I mean, do you get this formula? We have to differentiate the entire parameter vector.
Okay, sir.
Okay. Anyway, this is not there for the midterm, so I'll send you some other questions for the delta method so that you can get practice. Okay.
Yes, sir.
This is very important. So to know that.
And sir, one more thing, like for standard error to exist, this beta 3 and beta 4 should be significant, should be non-zero, because in denominators.
Yes, sir, exactly. I was also thinking this.
Yeah. Yes. I think I have some data for this. Let me see how the what should I say, how the data works out to be. Okay, Kumar?
Yes, sir, but it has to be non-zero, beta 2 and beta 3, because then this matrix will become.
Kumar, just take this as a demonstration of more of a delta method rather than the zero part or insignificant part. Is it okay?
Yes, I understood the point.
Okay, you just to know how to calculate the covariance matrix of a function of the original equation. And right, in this case, I can go, this can be the original function could have been estimated in a different way. This is now wireless. You could have estimated using nonlinear least squares also. Okay, all these things are there. Well, this just take it as a demo of how to get the asymptotic covariance matrix for those vector parameters which are those vector parameters where the elements of the vector are functions of the original equation. Let it be least squares, let it be whatever. You can still use the same funda. Okay, so how to calculate it, what are the things needed when you work with actual data, this all will come out. All questions will be answered. Can you go to the next stuff?
And sir, in examination, you won't give a non-linear function, right?
Hopefully not. Hopefully not. Hopefully not. This is a non-linear function. To come here to was it difficult for you, Kumar? No. I won't ask you to do the Taylor approximation of this stuff. Understood? Suppose I give you this is the model I am estimating. Log y is equal to log gamma plus v delta log k blah 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 whatever it is. From here it will be difficult for you.
But previous model to come to this term it will take a lot of time.
No, I won't. Suppose I give you this model, log y is equal to log gamma. After I take the log of Taylor approximation, from here, coming here is difficult for you?
No, sir. Now it is straightforward. It's just
okay. That is exactly. Yes. Okay. Can we go? Can you go to the next part? Class? Devesh, Sanjana, Yamini?
Yes, sir.
Yes,
Yamini, you're quite calm these days. Sanjana?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. So how did you follow this?
Sir, I'm okay with the questions, the application, but I just need to go through the Taylor approximation and all that part again. So I will do it.
Adrish?
Yes, sir.
How did you find this? Huh?
Sir, it's okay, but sir, I think I have to brush up on the some parts of the yesterday's class.
Okay. Aman Rathod, are we speaking for the first time?
Yes, sir. No, sir.
Oh my.
I mean,
No,
yes,
sir.
we
Yes,
can
sir.
get.
No, sir. We
No,
have, we
sir.
have
No,
spoken
sir.
before. We have spoken before. Where are you from?
Sir, I am from Madhya Pradesh, Khandwa.
Okay. Okay. How is the connectivity, all those issues?
Sir, there are no such issues right now here.
Okay. Okay. So you could attend all the classes?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So how did you find these delta method and the examples that I given you?
Sir, the derivation was a bit difficult, but the application part is quite doable.
Quite doable, no? Very good. The derivation, you mean to say the original limiting distribution, all those stuff?
Yes, sir.
No, you don't have to derive all those stuff. You just have to remember what is going on, the conceptual thing. I have not derived everything. Okay, limiting distribution, asymptotic distribution derivative is very difficult. You just know what you should do when you have been asked to find the asymptotic covariant, asymptotic standard errors of a function of some parameter, which is a function of a parameter that has been estimated. Okay, that is what delta method is for. And we are given it for a single variable as well as multiple variable. And these are the examples. You go through it for once or twice, and you also practice the questions that I may send you later. It should be all right. Okay, Yamini.
Sir.
Yeah, Drishan.
Sir, I had one doubt. That last matrix that we have found, C hat into X square, that is the standard error matrix of theta hat, right?
This is not a standard error matrix. This is actually actually in this case it's the Jacobian.
No, the last bullet point.
This last bullet point you are saying.
Yes.
This will give you the estimated covariance matrix for theta hat.
And from that we can find like the individual, like the diagonal elements.
Diagonal elements, yes, diagonal elements will give you the variance of each individual parameter. The square root of those will give you the standard error for every elements of the theta hat. Okay. Okay, this is what. Yamini, you were saying something?
No, sir.
Is it okay for you?
Yes, sir, I got this C matrix part. Yeah.
Okay. Where are the other PhD guys? I don't have anything. Dheeraj, are you a PhD student or an MSc student?
PhD, sir.
How do you find this?
It's okay, sir.
You're from maths background or economics background?
Engineering, sir.
Okay, then you should be reasonably okay with these things.
I have to study, sir.
Okay, now these are the stuff that we wanted to. So this is an example of delta method. Now there's one more reminding. What is it? Asymptotic efficiency. Asymptotic finite sample, from the finite sample point of view, it was the Gauss-Markov theorem. When we extend this to a loss sample, okay, this is nothing but a loss sample equivalent of the Gauss-Markov theorem. So that talked about finite sample efficiency. This talked about asymptotic efficiency. So we would like to know the efficiency of the least squares estimators when we when the sample size goes to infinity. Okay, this leads to definition of asymptotic efficiency. An estimator is asymptotically efficient if it is consistent, asymptotically normally distributed, and has an asymptotic covariance matrix that is not larger than the asymptotic covariance matrix of any other consistent, asymptotically normally distributed estimator. Just go through this definition. This is sufficient for me because proving it mathematically is beyond us.
Sir, this is basically Gauss-Markov theorem where we say betas are minimum variance unbiased estimator.
Yes.
Sorry, just minimum variance estimator.
That is sometimes it is called finite sample asymptotic efficiency. Finite sample efficiency. Now this is asymptotic efficiency. That's it.
Sir, one doubt. How do we say that covariance matrix is larger or smaller? Like my matrix algebra is very weak. So how do we say one matrix is larger or other matrix is smaller?
Who is this?
Sir, Kumar Shah.
Mar, you have not yet read the Gauss-Markov theorem. How did we do there?
Sir, okay, I'll just go back and see.
No. Answer this question. Suppose it's a single parameter. How do you say?
Sir, we just compare the variance.
If it is the vector parameter, which one do you compare?
Covariance matrix we should compare. Right?
Yeah, we discussed something about positive, semi-definite, positive definiteness and all those stuff.
Yes, sir. That part I know. I mean, it should be. Okay, sir, I'll go back and revise this. Like how we see covariance matrix is larger or smaller. Sir, I'll go back and see. Sir, if I don't understand, I'll ask you again.
No, that is, I've done it. What rubbish? Okay, Gauss-Markov theorem. Here, this is what do you mean by best? What is best here? What is best here? What is best here? Okay. What is this? We have to clarify what we mean by best here. One matrix is less than where B matrix. This is solved by considering an estimator for any linear combination.
Yes, so we took a matrix A and we say that.
And we showed that is something that the positive semi-definite. Okay, you get this point. We have to show it's called a positive semi-definite or non-negative definite matrix. When you can show this, that is the way to compare two matrices. We have to show the difference between those two matrices is positive semi-definite. Is it okay?
Okay, sir. Got it. Okay. Difference should be positive semi-definite. That was.
Yes.
Okay. Thank you, sir.
Okay. Asymptotic efficiencies. This is the example for this is the definition of asymptotic efficiency. An estimator is asymptotically efficient if it is consistent, asymptotically normally distributed, blah blah blah, whatever it is. Okay, now proving this general regression model is mathematically demanding. That is an understatement. It is extremely tough. Okay, those who are interested in knowing the proof, have you heard? You must have definitely come across C.R. Rao books. C.R. Rao's book. Have you at least seen through them?
Sir, I've heard who he is, but
the C.R. Rao, very difficult. Yeah, but an excellent book that you should. Yeah, but an excellent book, but it's very difficult to know that you are not only there's the other discussions also. Okay, so we will leave it. So what we intend doing it is, oh, you have another class now?
Micro class.
Oh, so can we just hello? Hello?
Yes, sir. Micro at 11:30.
Okay. Now I'll do one thing. I'll send this to you. Can you go through this? There's nothing for me to explain here. Can you go through it so that next class I can take the hypothesis testing?
Okay, sir. And can you send us the slides that also include the Taylor series approximation?
I had given you this. No, this is the Taylor series approximation is here, Drishan. This is what you are asking?
Yes, this slide.
I have not sent you this before yet. Okay, I have sent you up to this portion, I think, right?
Yes, you did not send the approximation.
The delta method. I'll send you 22. The next slide will have this Taylor series approximation. Okay.
Okay.
Okay. Now my question is, My question is this. This is the example that I'm using to show the asymptotic efficiency of the wireless estimator. Suppose I send you this without discussing it in the class. Is it okay for you to go through this so that next class I can take hypothesis testing? Let me ask the PhD student. Anas Khan, is it okay? Where are you? Are you still there? Yeah. Anas Khan?
This part is in the midterm, delta method?
No.
Okay, thank you,
Hello.
sir.
Anas Khan?
Hello. Yes,
Yeah,
sir.
what I was saying this, can you see this particular step? We have defined asymptotic efficiency.
Yes, sir.
Okay, to prove it for the general multiple regression models mathematically demanding, I'm not going to do that. So what I'm suggesting is this, I'll take it for a simple linear regression like
Okay,
this.
sir.
Okay, so I'll
Okay.
prove the asymptotic efficiency of beta 1. This is quite readable. There's nothing that I'm not seen before. We are not seen before. So what I'm suggesting is this, I'll send you this example. Can you go through it? And if you have any difficulty, then we can discuss it. Otherwise, what I'm suggesting is next class, I'll go to hypothesis testing straight away.
Okay, sir.
This I'm telling you, there's nothing that is beyond you. Okay.
Sir, in asymptotic efficiency, we consider all the assumptions as in the case of Gauss-Markov.
Exactly. This is exactly what this is the definition. This is the definition. Okay. What is the definition? This is the definition. Estimate is asymptotically efficient if it is consistent, asymptotically normally distributed as an asymptotic covariance matrix. Okay. All the loss sample properties are satisfied.
Okay, sir.
Because this is an extension of the finite efficiency. The Gauss-Markov theorem that we have seen, this is an extension of that to the case when n tends to infinity. The sample size tends to infinity. Okay.
Okay.
So we are considering all the asymptotic properties when sample size goes to infinity. That consistent, asymptotic, normal distributed as an asymptotic covariance matrix that is not larger than any other consistent estimator. Okay. So this is the definition of asymptotic efficiency. You take this bullet point, third bullet point, and get into understand this. That is sufficient for me. Okay.
Okay, sir.
So, but unless you are doing a postgraduate thing in statistics, the differentiation, the proof of this is not necessary to know. Okay. Okay. Even in that case, if you are interested in knowing, I'm just giving you a simple example involving a simple linear regression. This I can explain. Okay.
Okay.
I'm saying I'll send this example. You go through it. If there is any problem, in the next class we'll discuss it. Is it okay for you?
Okay, sir.
Is it okay for others also?
Yes, sir.
Ravi,
Yes,
Hari, Anand Dubey.
Yes.
Anand Dubey. Have we talked before?
Yes, sir.
Where are you from?
Sir, I'm generally from, I live in Allahabad, my family, but right now I'm not in Allahabad, I live in Madhya Pradesh.
But you have no connectivity issues or anything, right?
No, sir, I do not have.
Okay. Have you been following what I'm saying right now about the asymptotic efficiency example?
Yes, sir, I have read this earlier, sir.
Okay, I'll send you the slide. You go through it. Any question, you can ask me in the next class. That is on Monday.
Sure, sir. Sure.
Okay. Okay. Who is this Ananya Srivastav? I don't think I have talked to him or her or Ananya Srivastav.
Yes, sir.
We have talked before?
No, sir.
Oh my God. How come his course is going to end? I'm very sorry. Very sorry. Okay. So how did you find this? How do you find this this thing? Too fast, too
Sir?
slow? Yeah.
No, sir, it's fine.
You are a PhD student or MSc?
MSc.
Okay. So is this okay?
Yes, sir.
Where are you placed? Where are you from?
Sir, I am from Delhi, but right now I am in Goa.
You're in Goa. Okay, great. So any connectivity issues or anything?
No, sir.
Okay. Okay. That's it. It's 11:08. Go and attend the next class. Okay, Paramila, you said something about Paramila. You said the special classes will be on Jan 19th and Jan 28th, 6:30. Am I right?
Yes, sir. That's what Shreshtiana told me.
Okay, can you please confirm it and send me a mail?
Yeah, sure, sir.
Okay, where is Srishti? Srishti did not come join to this. Can you please confirm it with her and send me a mail immediately?
Okay, sir. Sure, sir.
And to the entire class also.
Okay, sir.
Okay, thank you. Thank you. The class ends. Bye-bye. Have a good day.
Thank you,
Thank you,
sir.
sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.